What if I told you that the pain you feel is not your enemy, but a messenger? That your body is just trying to show you what your soul couldn't say in words. Nothing that happens in your body is by chance. Everything is vibrational response. Have you ever felt a persistent pain that seemed to make no sense? Have you ever gone to doctors, exams, specialists, and still no one found the real cause? If this has ever happened to you, perhaps today's story will help you see something that your eyes haven't yet been able to see. James Walker was 33 years old. I worked as a manager at a small technology company in Austin, Texas. At first glance, he seemed like someone ordinary. Discreet clothes, stable life, normal relationships. But there was something that no one saw. Inside him, a silent storm was growing every day. Since he was a child, James had carried an uncomfortable feeling, a nameless sadness, a restlessness that wouldn't go away. His parents said it was an age thing, then it became work pressure. When the first stomach pains appeared at the age of 27, he didn't pay much attention. It must be anxiety, he thought. Over time, these pains became stronger. Doctors prescribed medicine. Psychiatrists diagnosed moderate anxiety. Psychologists talked about accumulated stress. But nothing explained why. On ordinary days, James felt as if something inside him was imploding. James was the type of person who tried to ignore his emotions. Whenever I felt afraid, angry, or sad, I immersed myself in work. He occupied himself until there was no space left to think. Until, at the age of 32, during a regular Monday meeting, he felt such a sharp pain in his chest that he thought he was having a heart attack. At the hospital, after a battery of tests, the doctor said, "Physically, you're fine. We found nothing." And that's when the penny started to drop. How could his body scream so loudly if nothing was apparently wrong? James came home that night with more questions than answers. Sitting on the bed, looking at the ceiling, he felt something he had never allowed himself to feel, an immense emptiness. It wasn't physical. It was as if his soul was suffocated, trapped, forgotten. And then came the question that would change everything. What if this pain isn't a problem, but a message I never wanted to hear? If you've ever felt like your body is trying to warn you about something that your mind insists on ignoring, you need to keep watching. Because what comes next could explain a lot of what you're experiencing today. Write in the comments, have you ever had any pain or symptoms that seemed unexplainable? I really want to read your stories. And if this topic has already touched something inside you, leave a like right now and subscribe to the channel. What we're going to reveal next could open a door you didn't even know existed. How many times have you felt a pain in your chest and knew, deep down, that it wasn't just physical? James felt this every day, that pang, that heaviness that appeared out of nowhere, as if the body was screaming for something that it itself refused to hear. When I left work, the feeling got worse. Sometimes he would drive for hours aimlessly, only to postpone the moment of returning home, to the silence, to that absence of life that had become his routine. On the outside, everything was in place. Inside, it was as if there was an invisible crack, which was spreading every day. James tried everything: diet, exercise, alternative therapies. He went to acupuncturists, Reikians, guided meditation sessions. Nothing seemed to give lasting results. The pain came and went like a runaway tide. At times, he even wondered if he was going crazy. How was it possible to feel so much without having absolutely anything wrong, according to traditional medicine? When I mentioned it to my friends, I received empty responses. Relax, it's stress. You need a vacation. But deep down he knew. It wasn't just stress. It was something deeper, something that simple words couldn't explain. One night, after another episode of intense pain that left him lying on the living room floor, James decided to do something different. He didn't look for doctors. He didn't look for answers outside. He took a sheet of paper and wrote, "What is my body trying to tell me?" And he stayed there, silent, waiting for some answer. No rush, no judgment. Minutes passed, after hours, until for the first time in a long time, an old memory surfaced. He found himself, as a child, hearing his father say, "Strong men don't cry. Swallow your pain." And at that moment, everything started to make sense. All that life of self-control, of swallowing emotions, of masking feelings so as not to appear weak, had accumulated inside him like a silent bomb. Every time he felt fear, sadness, or frustration and pushed it deep into his chest, his body registered it. And now, years later, what had been hidden for so long no longer fit. I needed to leave. He needed to be heard. But since James had never learned to give his soul space to express itself, his body took over this role. That pain, that physical anguish was not a curse. It was pure communication. It was the cry of the soul that, ignored for so long, found in the body the only possible channel to be heard. James, until then, thought he was the victim of a mysterious illness. But in fact, he was the unconscious creator of what consumed him. His body never wanted to punish him. His body just wanted to talk. I wish he would stop running away from himself. And perhaps, by looking within himself, he could begin to understand not only the source of the pain, but also the path to healing. And you? Have you ever felt like your body is trying to tell you something that your mind insists on ignoring? If this has already touched something inside you, stay here with me, because now we go even deeper into this silent journey between soul and matter. And you? Have you ever stopped to ask yourself if there is something inside you that is trying to be heard, but that somehow you keep silencing? Maybe you think you're just tired. Maybe you believe that all of this is just part of the hustle and bustle of everyday life. But what if it isn't? What if this tension in your neck, this insomnia that consumes you night after night, this irritation for no apparent reason, are just manifestations of something that your soul has been trying to tell you for much longer than you realize? Could it be that that headache that appears on the days when you try to please everyone is not just stress, but rather the invisible pressure of expectations that you have imposed on yourself? Expectations that you don't even know where they came from, but that accompany you like silent shadows? Or that persistent gastritis that no diet seems to solve? Is it just a stomach illness? Or maybe it's accumulated anger, hurts that you swallowed, words you never said, pains that you decided to lock under lock and key? Because deep down, the soul is not made to be caged. She needs to express herself. And if it doesn't find a way through the mouth, through the heart, or through gestures, it finds a remaining path in the body. Think about it with me. How many times have you felt that something wasn't right inside you, but you chose to ignore it? How many times have you suppressed the urge to cry, to scream, to ask for help, just to appear strong, to not bother, to not disappoint? How many times have you abandoned yourself to be accepted? How many times has your emotional health been sacrificed in the name of a semblance of normality? I know that maybe you've been taught your whole life that it's nonsense, that everything passes, that it's nothing. And after hearing this so much, you also started repeating it to yourself. But the body never lies. He is the most loyal messenger of the soul. He carries on his skin, in his bones, in his organs, everything that the mind refuses to look at. So I ask you again, in an even more direct way, is what you feel today, this pain, this discomfort, this tiredness that never goes away, is it just a failure of your body? Or is it a desperate request from your soul for you to finally listen to it? Could it be that, like James, you too are trying to survive in an internal system that was never designed to stifle feelings, but rather to experience them, to heal them, to set them free? Allow yourself to feel this question without rushing. No guilt, no need for immediate responses, because sometimes just the act of stopping and listening is the first step toward a transformation you didn't even know you were waiting for. And stay with me, because now we're going to dive even deeper into this territory where pain is not the enemy. It's a map that can take you exactly where your soul has been trying to guide you for so long, even if you still don't know how to decipher the signs. Here comes a truth that few know, but that changes everything when you really understand. The mind creates the body, not as a metaphor, but as an indisputable energetic reality. According to the law of mentalism and the law of correspondence, what happens inside, sooner or later, is reflected outside. No matter how much we try to hide, ignore, or mask it, the body doesn't forget. The body feels. The body is the perfect mirror of the emotional mind. Every thought you harbor, every emotion you repress, every silent belief you carry within, leaves invisible marks like small cracks that, over time, begin to become visible. And that's when the symptoms, the pain, the discomfort that seem to come out of nowhere appear. But nothing comes from nothing. Everything is correspondence. Everything is vibrational cause and effect. The universe does not punish, does not reward, does not punish. He just responds. If inside there is blockage, outside there will be pain. If there is repression inside, outside there will be disease. If there is unresolved anger inside, harbored resentments, stifled sadness, the body will find a way to manifest it, because the body is wise. He is the faithful messenger of your deepest vibration. Imagine that each thought is a drop of ink dropped into a glass of pure water. One drop doesn't make much difference, but think about years and years of accumulated drops. The entire cup changes color. This is how our body is in relation to what we feel and think every day. It's not sudden. It's not by chance. It is silent construction, which one day overflows. James didn't know this when he began his journey of grief. Like most of us, he was taught to treat the body as separate from the mind, as if they were distinct, disconnected entities. But the spiritual truth is that there is no separation. What you feel is what you live. What you believe is what you become. What you carry inside shapes every cell, every organ, every beat of your heart. Therefore, the disease that appears is not random. The pain that persists is not stubborn for nothing. They are maps, precise indicators of where your energy has become misaligned, where your soul needs attention, healing, liberation. And the more we ignore these signals, the more the body needs to scream for us to stop and listen. The entire universe works in resonance with your vibration, and your body is the first field of manifestation of this energy. It is the most intimate echo of what you vibrate without realizing it. It's not about blaming yourself. It's not about feeling ashamed. It's about understanding that you do have the power to change everything from the moment you choose to look inside and realign what has been distorted. And now that we've begun to uncover this truth hidden behind the pain, I want to take you even deeper. Because there is a twist in this story that can completely change the way you see your health, your body, and your own life. So the big truth is, your body is not broken. He never was. He is too loyal. Loyal to a level that few can understand. While you fight the symptoms, it just continues to reflect with mathematical precision the pains in your soul that still need to be seen, welcomed, understood. Your body is the living portrait of what happens in the quietest parts of you. He doesn't invent illnesses. He does not create meaningless pain. It just mirrors what, inside, has existed for much longer than you allow yourself to admit. And when that truth finally sinks in, everything changes. The once automatic question, how do I eliminate this pain, begins to lose its meaning, because the search is no longer to erase the symptom, but rather to decipher what it came to teach. The new question, the only one that really matters, becomes, what is this pain trying to show me? The answer does not always come immediately. Sometimes it arrives as a forgotten memory from childhood, an emotional pattern that you repeat without realizing it, an invisible belief that you carry like a burden inherited from generations. Sometimes it comes as a vague feeling that you need to let go of control, forgive someone, or perhaps forgive yourself. What is certain is that pain is never your enemy. She is your guide, a guide that tirelessly points to the places inside you where there is still a rupture between who you are and who you believe you need to be accepted, loved, recognized. The universe does not punish. The universe mirrors. It just holds a mirror in front of you, showing you exactly where your energy calls for adjustment, healing, transformation. And in that mirror, your body is the closest surface, the first to capture, the first to reflect, the first to try, in every way, to draw your attention to what really matters. James only truly began to heal when he stopped trying to fight his body and started listening to his soul. When, Instead of asking for medication to silence the symptoms, he sincerely asked, "What am I carrying that my body can no longer handle?" It was then that he discovered that pain was not a problem to be eliminated. It was a message to be welcomed. And like James, perhaps you too are at a turning point. Maybe all your body has been trying to tell you, through every discomfort, every inexplicable tiredness, every symptom that insists on returning, is that there is something inside you that needs to be looked at with love, not with judgment. Something that needs to be recognized, not denied. Something that demands passage so that you can finally stop surviving and start truly living. Because true healing never starts from the outside in. It is first born in a silent, almost imperceptible place within the soul. A place where you allow yourself, for the first time, to hear what previously seemed unbearable. And in that moment, without effort, without struggle, something begins to change from the inside out. And now I want to hear from you. Is there any pain that your body has been trying to transform into a message? Write a word here in the comments that summarizes what you felt when watching this video. I will read each comment with great care. If this story touched something inside you, leave a like so that more people can find this path of healing and awareness. And subscribe to the channel here, because this journey we started today goes much deeper. In the next episode, we'll reveal how repressed emotions silently shape the reality you live, and how releasing these emotions can be the key to creating a new life, lighter, more aware, and more truthful.